The last chapter of this course is how to write the risk. Yes, how to write the risk. Most of the people do not know how to write the risks properly. Because when you do the process, you try sometimes to do very quick. So you need to understand that risk must be properly identified. So the first thing you need to know, for example, when you have all that post-it notes on the wall, you take a photo and then you need to start describing that risk that you wrote quickly on a post-it note in the proper way. So first, risk should never include questions. Risk is not a question. Risk is a statement. Second, do not include answers. Oh, it can rain tomorrow and then I will buy something. No, I'm not saying you don't need answers. I want just that you make a clear description of the problem that you may face or the opportunity that you may face. Use complete sentences. Be specific. For example, it will rain tomorrow. It's not a good risk. It will rain tomorrow, and my guests on the wedding can have problems to find a place to park their cars in the wedding. Did you see the difference? Both of them, it's the same event, it's rain. But one I'm being very specific because it's very, very important that I elaborate the risk and the impacted area. Risk, rain. The event. And the impacted area, people will not be able to park the cars in the wedding. So think always in your ability to analyze and respond to this risk. Every time you create a risk, you need to say, which are the options I have to respond to that risk? So sometimes one risk can create 3, 4, 5, 6 different risks. So you have the event of rain. I can say, it may rain in the wedding, making the life of my guests miserable because they cannot park the car in the area. Second, it may rain and the ceremony that used to be outdoors will not be able to happen that way because the rain will not allow. It will rain and the airport on the city that I'm doing the wedding will be shut down and closed, and then my guests will not be able to arrive on time for the wedding. Do you see? All rain, but very, very different risks. If I can say, oh, let's provide transport for the guests, you will solve maybe the first problem of the parking spot. But you will not solve the second problem of the wedding. And you will not solve the third problem of the airport. So 3 risks related to the rain with 3 complete different approaches. So let me give you now, in this last moment of this course, how you should write a risk. So usually, what do? You should say, something can occur during something, causing an impact on something. Rain can occur during the wedding, causing an impact on my guests because they will become wet. Another way, you choose, okay? If something occurs, then an impact in something will occur. If the bride does not arrive on time, there is a chance that the priest will leave without celebrating the wedding. So this is a very extremely simple way of describing. You need to take away, please, you don't need, I'm not an expert in English, so you may write this in a much better way than I do. But it's very important, you need to be able to formulate the problem and where will happen the impact on that problem. Because then when you move forward on the risk management process, then you can identify how big is this risk, which kind of action can you do to mitigate, remove, or even accept that risk. So it's a very important, and this is something that most of the time I don't see. People just write anything. The way they finish the brainstorm is the way that goes on the risk register. This is why you saw in all process that I say compile the list. What is compile? Is to translate that handwriting into something that is meaningful, that people will understand in the future. Otherwise, when people go to respond these risks, they will not be even able to identify what are you talking about.